Hello and welcome to the Mary Rose Live, a creative and cultural industries TV special where we will be celebrating the 35th anniversary of the raising of this prestigious ship.
This is the first of three 45-minute long shows where we will be able to show you the life that is at heart of this world-famous ship.
The Mary Rose was a successful warship in the 16th century, serving Henry VIII for 34 years, almost the entire duration of his reign.
After winning battle after battle, the Mary Rose sank in 1545 in the Battle of Solent.
I mean, that was the biggest victory in the end, to get people who would fund it, because obviously the funding wasn't there, and who actually believed, well, yeah, there is a wreck there and there are artefacts.
In 1967, the Mary Rose Committee was formed with the aim to find, excavate and preserve the remains of the ship.
And so the whole ship was then lifted up, literally hanging from the lifting frame that we'd attached it to with all those wires.
She was raised and we went into the dock and she was still in water. And I stood along the bridge and I looked down with tears in my eyes saying, that little small section is where I could see nothing, and I was excavating for days on end.
The ship was brought up in 1982. However, the wealth of objects that have been excavated from the wreck site since then has been astounding, with over 19,000 objects being recovered from the site.
That's it for part one today.
In a sense, the inside informed the outside. The building was designed from the inside out.
They had this concept of putting in the virtual port side, because of course inside the dry dock we've got the starboard side of the Mary Rose, it's the only bit that still survives, and they then literally wanted to put in the port side and then display the objects in the port side where they would have been immediately before the ship sank. So it was a kind of reflected image.
Once the Mary Rose was raised, a special conservation programme was developed in order to preserve her.
The ship itself was conserved with a polymer called polyethylene glycol, PEG for short. So this is a polymer used for bulking out the wood.
We've had 300,000 visitors come since we've reopened, which has been amazing. Wow. And 98%, satisfied, very satisfied visitors, which makes my life a whole lot easier.
The preservation of the ship and its artefacts rely heavily on support from the general public. By visiting this museum, you'll play an essential role in preserving this unique snapshot into Tudor life.
Hello and welcome to our final end-of-year broadcast, live on the Mary Rose, live with our television and broadcasting students from Portsmouth Historic Dockyard.
This bowl is particularly special. Most of the bowls we've got have just got a graffiti mark, X, his bowl. But this one seems to have the words Nye Coop, cook, written on it. And this is absolutely fantastic because the only other name we know for sure of someone who was on board was George Carew, the Vice Admiral.
You've brought along some very special coins. Could you tell us a little bit about these?
Yeah, we've got two coins here, one gold and one silver. So you're looking there at two months' pay for an ordinary seaman on board. This was recovered in 1979.
The most dramatic thing we're doing is cooking up a broth for 500 men. And you can see a ladle there, which is an exact copy of the ladles we found on board. And then here, he's going to pull out one of the sets of food for one mess of people. So in that calico bag is a set of 8 portions of the beef. And on board the ship, we actually found the ribs of beef cut into 2-pound portions.
Well, what a way to end the final television and broadcasting show of the year.